My name's Harriet. I hack your AI so the bad guys can't.
You know, it's sort of dangerous having this microphone here because I'm pretty sure in an alternate universe or in a past life, I was a stand-up comedian. I'm not at all funny, but I just love the idea of doing comedy on a stage. And a joke I often tell, and if you've heard me tell this one before, I deeply apologise, also to my mother who is absolutely sick of me telling it. But when I first told my mother that I worked in AI, she said, "Oh darling, what are you doing working in artificial insemination?" Because that's what AI is to her. She works in medicine, she's a medical professional. And even though most people these days, I think, when we talk about AI, know that we're referring to artificial intelligence because we see it in the media all the time, we see it in the news, people generally are talking about something kind of different when they talk about AI. In fact, when I speak to many people about AI, I can tell that the kind of AI they have in their mind is like Skynet from the Terminator, or it's this other kind of like any artificial intelligence system in a sci-fi movie, you know? It's the kind of AI that has gained super intelligence and robots are often involved, and it's decided that it wants to take over the world. This is the fear that most people have when we talk about the rise of AI. Now, I'm personally not afraid of that, or at least I don't think that's what we need to worry about anytime soon. But what I am worried about is how people can hack and manipulate artificial intelligence systems. But in order to talk about that, we need to understand what artificial intelligence actually is, and therefore, what makes it vulnerable. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Harriet. I missed the boat in computer hacking, so now I hack AI instead, and I'm helping you understand how to keep it safe. So artificial intelligence is talked about as though it's this new thing, and there are definitely many things about it that are cool and emerging and exciting, but artificial intelligence as a term has actually existed for a very long time. John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence at the Dartmouth Conference back in 1956. So the Dartmouth Conference was a gathering of cybernetics researchers. Cybernetics basically looks at the intersection between cognitive sciences and computer science. They basically decided to rebrand their work as artificial intelligence because they were designing algorithms that were very much based on the way the human brain works. And so calling it artificial intelligence was a good way of explaining it, especially to different funding bodies. Now, an example of a very early, possibly the first, machine learning algorithm from around this time is called the perceptron. The perceptron is an algorithm for supervised learning of binary classifiers. So that basically means that it can classify something into one bucket or another. And that looks a bit like this. Now, back in the 1950s, something like this would have been considered artificial intelligence, you know, because it was the cutting edge of the time, and it could do things that previously couldn't have been done in a way that was inspired by human intelligence and human biology. And what we see ever since the 1950s is that artificial intelligence as a term has always been used to refer to whatever was cutting edge at the time. So in the 1980s, for example, expert systems that could do things really well, were considered artificial intelligence. This is a bit like IBM's Deep Blue that was able to beat Garry Kasparov at chess. These days, what we would consider artificial intelligence is a chatbot powered by a large language model, because this is really at the cutting edge of what we can do today. And ever since the 1950s, there have been periods called AI winters. These were basically times where expectation was so high and the capability just wasn't to meet that. So there was a rapid decline in funding, in interest, in expectation and optimism around artificial intelligence. We've seen at least 2 AI winters in recent history. The current rise in artificial intelligence can be linked to the rise in deep learning, which started maybe around 2010, 2009, when we were able to create models, again inspired by the human brain, that were very deep. So just like the perceptron in the 1950s basically had a single layer or maybe a couple of layers, machine learning models these days can be many dozens of layers deep, but this requires a lot of computational power, and this is the thing that we didn't have access to until recently. So it's really the rise of computational power and our access to hardware that has accelerated artificial intelligence momentum most recently. But what hasn't changed is the use of the term artificial intelligence. So here's our Harriet hack for the episode. Artificial intelligence is a goal, not a technology. There is one big asterisk to this, and that is that in 2023, the term artificial intelligence was defined for the first time in a technical way by ISO, the International Standards Organization. And to put it in layman's terms, they basically define it as a system that can do something a human might otherwise have done, but using a model. So this is still pretty broad, but it is technical enough that artificial intelligence, I guess, does refer to a technology these days. But in terms of the way that artificial intelligence is thrown around, it makes more sense not to refer to an artificial intelligence system, or if you do, to really unpack the different technologies that are actually making up that system. For example, here we're going to go into a lot of buzzwords, and in other episodes we're going to talk in more depth about what they are. But we can think about artificial intelligence as an umbrella of different technologies, and then within that we have machine learning. Key terms under machine learning are convolutional neural networks, deep learning, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. Now, regardless of all of the different items under that bucket, machine learning at its core really refers to the ability for models to learn based on data given to them by humans. Machine learning models can do many different things, from computer vision uses, which might involve recognizing a stop sign, being used at border control for biometrics like facial recognition and fingerprints. They can be used in consumer devices to unlock your phone, or more recently, to pay at checkout for an item. They even power things like chatbots and natural language processing. They can do all these things because a human has fed it a lot of historical data, and they've learned from that data in order to find patterns or make predictions. Also, under that artificial intelligence bucket, you would have things like automation. So this doesn't require any learning from the model, but it does enable a software system to carry out tasks without a human needing to tell it to. Automated systems typically require a human to explicitly program all of the steps that need to be taken, but once that's done, it can then go and carry out those steps on its own. Under the artificial intelligence bucket, you would also have things like algorithms, and these are kind of like automation steps that help a system carry out, recipes of things to do. And these might be a bit more complicated than just automation, but might not require any continuous learning on the part of the computer. Now, AI is a big deal at the moment. The global AI market was projected to reach approximately $327 billion next year. The artificial intelligence market is worth hundreds of $billions, and that is only set to grow. People feel many different emotions when it comes to artificial intelligence, whether it's fear of AI systems turning into Skynet, or optimism that AI can alleviate the mandrolic parts of your job that you just don't want to do, and that it can create a better quality of life for everyone. And personally, I'm optimistic about artificial intelligence too. This is obviously an AI security channel, and we're soon going to be delving into all of the risks associated with artificial intelligence, including safety, security, alignment. But if we design, implement, and use artificial intelligence systems appropriately, we should be able to create a better future for us all. We just need to make sure that we do implement those things. So you should be excited, but it's not magic. Artificial intelligence is a technology like any other. It requires a lot of human input, and there is still a lot of work to do before it gets to a Skynet type level. Now, I want to know what you think about artificial intelligence. Comment down below, and if you want to support me and my channel, and if you want to learn more about the intersection of artificial intelligence and security, please like this video and please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next videos. In the description below, I'm linking different references that I've mentioned, and I'm also linking other episodes. In other videos, I'm talking about those buckets of artificial intelligence technologies, and I'm also diving into some of the artificial intelligence risks. That's all for now. I hope to see you in the next episode.